Good morning. At this point, you have gone over the rubric with Miss Horwidge. So today we're going to be writing the first drafts of our Where I'm From poem. So our learning targets for today are to write a first draft of a Where I'm From poem using ideas from our brainstorming sheet. So today you will need to have out the brainstorming sheet that you filled out on probably Monday, maybe yesterday. And the next learning target is to include figurative language, so similes and metaphors, to help paint a picture in your reader's mind. So there's a reason that we learned what similes and metaphors are, and that's so that you can use it to help improve your writing in your poem. These materials are optional. You can have out a pencil and a piece of paper. I know for me, when I'm drafting, I really prefer to have pencil and paper out as opposed to drafting on the computer. For some reason, that's just how my mind works. I like to be able to scratch things out and erase, and I'm just better able to generate ideas on paper. If that's you, go ahead and grab a piece of paper. If not, you can do this on the computer today. So to start out, you need to pull up your brainstorming sheet. And as you're looking through your brainstorming sheet, and all of you have 10 items total, I want you to think about what are the 5 or 6 most important items in this list of stuff. What do you think that you could write about? What do you have the most vivid memories of? What are the most important things to you? I went through and I highlighted them all. If you know how to do that, that's fine. You can do that as well, but it's not necessary. You can just keep flipping back to this. Just make sure that you know which 5 or 6 things you're going to be writing about. You could write them down on your separate piece of paper if you'd like. So I'm just going to choose one thing from the list and I'm going to get started drafting. So the very first thing that I'm going to write about is basketball, because basketball just played such a huge role in my childhood. I was one of those kids who would be out in the front yard playing basketball before school. As soon as I got home from school, playing basketball. So basketball all the time. So in my draft page over here, I'm going to start out by saying I'm from. Just like in the examples that you read, that is really the best way to start. So I'm from basketball. And actually, I'm going to say I'm from basketball, basketball, basketball. Because when I say it over and over like that, it kind of gives the impression of a basketball bouncing, right? So now that I'm from basketball, 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 I need to think about how I can elaborate on this a little bit so that I'm not just saying, I'm from basketball, I'm from Cheetos, I'm from mom and dad. And as I'm thinking about me playing basketball as a kid, one of the memories that stands out the most is my mom always yelling at me to come inside to do my homework or help with dinner or eat dinner or whatever it was. So I'm going to jump down a line here because remember, in poems, when we're writing poems, we don't have to really follow the rules of complete sentences. You get to kind of choose when you want your line to break or end. So I'm from basketball, basketball, basketball. From just 5 more minutes. Oof. Have you said that to your parents before? Just 5 more minutes. And then I'm going to think about how I can describe the act of me playing basketball. So I think I'm going to say the bouncing of the ball was as constant I'm going to break lines there as the beating of my heart. So I'm at a simile, right? A comparison between the bouncing of the ball to the beating of my heart. And as you saw from the rubric with Ms. Horwidge, you need to have at least 3 similes or metaphors, I think it is. So I'm using a simile here to describe the act of me playing basketball. I'm from basketball, basketball, basketball. From just 5 more minutes, the bouncing of the ball was as constant as the beating of my heart. So I may choose to add more to that But for now, that seems like a good little stanza to me. The whole thing is about basketball. So I'm going to go back to my brainstorming list. And the next thing that I want to write about is my dad. So I have mom and dad highlighted over here. I'm going to do one stanza devoted just to my dad. Oops. So it's a new idea. I'm going to start a new stanza. So I'm going to hit enter, enter, and start down here. And just like I did in the first stanza, I'm going to say, I am from my father. And of course, I'm thinking about all of the things that make my dad who he is, why he's important to me. So I'm going to describe him as the rock of our family. Another metaphor, right? I'm calling my dad a rock. He's not actually a rock. The rock of our family and the foundation of our home. He's also not the metal, or not metal, but the concrete foundation of our home. So 2 metaphors there. His booming laugh, that's one of the things, his laugh is one of the things I really remember about my dad. His booming laugh and unwavering, that means he didn't stop. And unwavering support brought life to all who surrounded him. So you get the picture here, right? You're going through your brainstorming list. Choose one idea. In your poem, you're starting with I'm from that idea, and then you're just elaborating on it a little bit more. Think about everything that comes with that thing, right? Basketball, your parents, whatever it is, and then go on to describe it. And you can do exactly like I'm doing and separate those ideas into separate stanzas, those little mini paragraphs that are a part of poems. If you're feeling stuck, don't forget that you can go back to the student examples. You could even just Google where I'm from poems, and there will be hundreds of results. If you just need a little bit of inspiration, I frequently do that. And remember, this is just drafting. So all of this can change. I'm frequently rewriting, crossing out, thinking about how I want to improve things that I want to get rid of. So for today, just have fun, go through this process, and email me if you have any questions.